Welcome to the Brandy the British channel. My name is Lawrence and today I'm going to be showing you how to make two variants of a steak dinner. So as I show you how, please sit back, relax with a cup of tea in hand, putting those feet of yours up to, and enjoy this episode. And don't forget to subscribe. In this episode, we'll be sharing our recipes for two variants of a classic steak dinner. One will feature a perfectly cooked fillet steak served with a red wine steak sauce, while the other walks you through the preparation of a ribeye steak served with an inflamed mushroom brandy sauce. Step by step, you'll be shown how to prepare these steaks to your liking with a complimentary sauce, making the idea of having a steak dinner at home all the more accessible. So, with the introductions made and your interest peaking, please allow me to show you how to turn these into these. To begin preparing a brilliantly British steak dinner, starting with the ribeye, optionally remove the bone to facilitate easy cooking by slicing as close to the bone as possible in order to avoid wasting any meat, as well as using the opportunity to trim away any excess fat should you prefer a leaner steak. Having taken care of the ribeye, I then split my fillet steak in two as a final step before seasoning. To season the steak, I advise coating liberally with salt on all sides until the salt becomes a visible white layer upon the steaks, while also using a spoon to massage the salt into the meat as well as cause it to thoroughly adhere, as this will encourage the meat to begin absorbing the salt in order to season the meat within and without. Optionally too, should a layer of fat exist on your steak, I advise scoring the steak to encourage it to render and crisp when cooking. With your steaks well and truly salted, upon a raised rack on a tray, lay out your steaks, with them being covered with a breathable covering before resting in your refrigerator for an overnight period. The next day, for best results, I advise bringing your steaks out of the fridge to warm them up slightly, at least 2 hours before cooking. Nevertheless, attending to my fillet steak, first, to maintain its shape, I advise binding with string before preferably heating up a stainless steel or cast iron pan, with the steel pan being heated dry at first over a high heat until water globules scuttle rapidly upon the surface, at which point turn in your frying fat, beef dripping in my case, and then with the pan sufficiently greased and hot, begin frying your fillet steak, with it requiring 2 minutes on each flat side and 30 seconds on all other sides to achieve a beautifully seared fillet steak. Then, with the steak well seared and momentarily set aside, in the same pan with the heat now set to medium-low, turn in butter, a bundle of rosemary and thyme, as well as crushed garlic cloves, to then recall your steak and very quickly begin basting it with the aromatic butter in the pan for up to 2 minutes. Relocating thereafter to a sheet of foil to then be seasoned with fresh black pepper on both sides, topped with the herbs and garlic, followed by some of the aromatic butter left in the pan, before wrapping and resting as you prepare a complementary sauce, or alternatively cooking further in your oven for anything from a medium to well done steak. Nevertheless, for the aforementioned complementary sauce, in the same pan over a medium heat, fry diced red onions and tomato paste for up to 2 minutes, stirring constantly in order to lift and incorporate the fond in the pan. Following 2 minutes of frying, deglaze the pan with an initial splash of red wine before adding the rest with a spoon of yeast extract, and then reducing over a high heat with a sprig of thyme and rosemary. Cook the sauce until the consistency resembles that which is on screen now, at which point season it with salt and black pepper to taste, finishing with chives to then be set aside to prepare for serving. With the fillet steak sufficiently rested and tender, unwrap to then stir the drippings into your steak sauce. Before, I recommend slicing thinly and placing with fresh chips and your red wine sauce topped with your perfectly cooked steak. Tasting, tasting, tasting. Are you ready? Are you steady? 3, 2, 1. What can I say? In many ways, this is very simple food. You have a lovely tender piece of meat, seared on the outside, wonderfully seasoned over at least a night-long period to allow the salt to penetrate the meat itself and season it within and without, and then coupled with fries and this wonderful red wine, red onion steak sauce. Beautiful, beautiful. Honestly, it's really as simple as it looks to make, and for me it's perfectly cooked, a lovely medium rare. But as you can see, you can enjoy a lovely well done steak if that is what you prefer. It's really, really that simple. And so with that being said, on to the next one. To prepare a steak dinner, this time around with a ribeye steak in a steel or cast iron pan, hot enough to cause water to scuttle on the surface, once lined with fat, such as beef dripping, over a high heat, begin to sear your steak on the fat side at first until golden brown and crisp, following on by searing the steak for 2 minutes on one side, turning over to sear once more on the opposite side to reveal a golden brown caramelized crust. Once seared for a further 2 minutes on the opposite side, proceed by searing all other facets of the steak, to then set the steak aside and then lower the intensity of heat to then drop in butter, crushed garlic cloves, and a sprig of thyme and rosemary before recalling your steak and then basting it for up to 2 minutes, making sure to attend to all areas of the steak. Following a 2-minute stint spent basting, season quickly with fresh black pepper without forgetting to season on the other side as well, before topping with the aromatics from your pan with spoonfuls of melted aromatic butter before wrapping thoroughly in foil in order to rest your steak for up to 10 minutes, leaving you with ample time to prepare your sauce. For the sauce, over a medium heat, melt butter, within which thinly sliced mushrooms should be fried with a pinch of salt, adding sliced red onions thereto once the mushrooms begin to brown. Following 2 minutes of sautéing, deglaze with brandy, which for your entertainment was ignited to quickly be ridden of the alcohol. However, I advise reducing the brandy in your pan over a high heat without igniting as a safer alternative. With the brandy having reduced in the pan, leaving behind little to no liquid, promptly add crushed or minced garlic, followed by mustard and a helping of cream to complete and enrich the sauce, not forgetting salt and pepper to taste, as well as a helping of chives. To serve, take a moment spent unwrapping your steak, and into your sauce stir in the collected drippings from resting the meat, before slicing thinly to reveal its perfect preparation in my opinion, finishing by plating this time with creamy mashed potatoes and your creamy mushroom brandy steak sauce. Perfect. Tasting, tasting, tasting. Are you ready? Are you steady? 3, 2, 1. The steak for me is perfectly cooked, a lovely pink medium rare, just the way I like it. The mashed potato to go with the steak, it's lovely and creamy, smooth, really smooth, silky smooth even. And this mushroom onion mustard sauce, it's beautiful. It has a wonderful meatiness to it. That of course will be as a result of the steak juices that went in it at the end. But it has this sweet caramel note to it as a result of the reduced brandy base. This as a meal, as you've seen, is very simple and easy to prepare. So you actually have no reason, no excuse not to make it for yourselves, because as I'm sure you're well aware, you will definitely enjoy it, perhaps even more so than myself. And so with that being said, with all of that being said, please, my dear friends, my dear viewers, go out, get yourselves a lovely piece of steak, some potatoes, and the ingredients for a lovely sauce to go with the dish, because as you're now well and truly aware, it will be worth it. So please, please, please make yourselves this steak dinner, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you all for allowing me to show you how to make these 2 steak dinners. Knowing that you loved this episode, don't forget to click on the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification button so that you don't miss any of our new releases. Tell everyone, and I mean everyone, that you know about the brilliantly British food on this channel, and follow us on all of the social media platforms that this channel is on, and I will see you